Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Concord and Victory interview. And today we're going to be interviewing Adaora, who's a 2023 leaver from Stowe School and who's in her second year at the LSE.
Our first question for you is, how was your just daily life at Stowe like?
Oh my goodness. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to have to go back in time. Okay, so it was mostly just you'd wake up, you'd have stance, and then chapel on some days, and then classes, right? I think the classes were like some of my favorite, like my favorite memories. Some of my favorite memories are, from Stowe are about classes because I really, really enjoyed like going to class and learning and things like that. And so I was super engaged with just like the basic academic stuff. And then afterwards, after classes ended, we had activities on most days. And that's another really important, part of school life that really broadens your school experience. And then in upper sixth, when I was head of house, so there have been more responsibilities and like you plan things and you talk to people. So yeah, I think those are the three main bits. Your like school, or like the academic side of school, extracurriculars, and then like your social life.
What kind of extracurriculars would you say you did like during Stowe, and how did that help you for like your application to LSE maybe?
Okay, so I was in for like a brief time. There was a law. There is still a law society. So I was in the law society, and that was good. Like, we didn't while I was at Stowe, it didn't meet that frequently, but it was really good to like speak about stuff outside of the curriculum that was more directly related to, things that I was thinking about doing at uni. There was also the 12 Society, which is a politics society. Does that still happen?
Yeah, I think there's a politics society.
Yeah.
That was really good. Senior, there was a literature society. I was also part of the literature society. These were like, for me, they were good because they were opportunities, as I said, to talk about things outside of the curriculum. And a big part of your like application to university, much of what you're doing is showing interest, right, in whatever you're applying for. So if you show that you spend time outside of the classroom engaging with like slightly more like advanced concepts, like that's something that universities really look for. So those were three examples of stuff that I did that showed that. But there were other things too, like I was in CCF, which was like definitely out of my comfort zone. So I always talk about that, like even on like applications for like jobs or like internships and things, I always talk about CCF as something that taught me resilience, because I'm just not like, I'm not a physical, like I don't like sports. I'm not that type of person. Like I always have something I wanted to do, an activity or like an extracurricular that forced me to do something a bit different, right? Which is also very essential on an application. Yeah, there are other stuff too, but I don't want to like.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So what would you say, like specifically during your time at Stowe, like what kind of things did you do that kind of made you stand out in your application to LSE? Like what would you say was your most like captivating aspect of like your application?
The application. I think, as I said, like because I knew, or because like learning, like listening to like Dr. West and like the people who advise you about applications, you really do have to show that this is something that you want, right? And that you would be like the professors and at uni want to teach like really curious, interested students, and I think that's what has to come through your application. So really, I just at school, I'm trying to think. Okay, my main like focus on my application was about my my interest in technology, right? Which then my interest in technology and like the role of the law in regulating technology. And that was something I got into while I was doing my EPQ, right? So
Right.
that's something that I really I think invest a lot of time in, and I really enjoy doing. And it really was the centerpiece of my application. So I think something like that is probably what you're looking for, like something material that I did that I could really rely on in my application.
Yeah.
So obviously you took the LNAT and got a great score at it. Did you study yourself? Did you have a tutor? Like, what methods did you use?
I think I studied myself. I didn't have a tutor, and I don't think you need one. I think it just takes a lot of practice, like most things, right? And so I'd say practicing for your LNAT, you should probably start early. So I think I took it in the October of upper sixth, but I started thinking about it like summer term, lower sixth,
Yeah.
like the school year before. So I spent like part of that term and then summer just like going through and like doing practice questions textbook, because it's not something that there's not you can't learn any content for it, right? You can only learn techniques, and you can only become more comfortable with the with the way they ask the questions, and like the type of things that you the type of reasoning that you're supposed to go through. And also because I obviously I didn't know anything about it, I used a lot of just YouTube. There's so much free information. There's free practice tests online. I don't think you need to pay anybody to.
Yeah.
I mean, if it makes you feel more comfortable, sure. But I think it's really valuable just trying to navigate it yourself, and making mistakes yourself the first time around, and then just improving and marking your own improvement. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite course that you're studying at LSE right now?
Right now, it's Feminist Legal Theory. Because first year, all your modules are required. So you do 4 modules in first year: contract, public law, which is it's a bit politicsy, constitutional law type thing. Torts is the law of wrongs. I don't want to burden you with that, but
Complicated.
and then criminal. So those are your 4 compulsory modules. And then LSE does something really interesting called the LSE 100 course. And it's kind of it's supposed to be this interdisciplinary course where you're really thinking about the impact of, the impact that your academic work can have on the world, right? So we had options. We had 3 topics to choose from. You could do how do we control AI, how do we create a fair society, and how do we secure our climate futures and stuff. So that was the optional bit of first year. Second year is much more flexible. You have a certain number of credits that you have to meet. I can't remember now, but a certain number of credits you have to meet, and then you just choose. Then you have the 2 compulsory courses in second year are property and EU, European Union law. So out of all my optional modules, feminist legal theory, to answer your question, feminist legal theory is my most interesting by far. Yeah.
Thank you. Did you have any work experience in law? And if you did, how would you say that impacted your interest now, and what kind of law you want to go into?
Okay, so yes, I did. You mean before I applied to uni?
It can be you can start by saying before and then what you do now, for sure.
Okay. So I did. I interned at 2 law firms before I started at LSE, and I think the most interesting, or the thing that struck me most from those experiences was, I think, the way lawyers work, rather than the actual. I can't remember the actual stuff that I helped or I worked on, right? But I just remember the way they work. It's very team based, so most work is just done through collaborative effort. There's lawyers in all levels of hierarchy working on a project, right? And the work is very impactful, so it cuts across industries. You could be working for a bank, right? Or you could be working for a government. So I really liked like the diversity of it, and just like how varied the experiences are, right? So you don't work on the same project or matter twice, or for the same people twice. I mean, you can work for like consistent clients, but like you just get to do lots of different things. And I think that really, oh, sorry. It's motion sensor. Sorry. Yeah, so I just liked how varied the work was. And I guess you asked me like how that impacted me.
Yeah, like what, like did that like make you want to go into any specific area of law, or maybe not want to go into some?
Okay, so I don't know. I think after the internships I had before I started uni, I still didn't know what area of law I wanted to work in. I just thought I wanted to do like tech law and tech law alone, right? I don't think that really changed after I did my internships. Like, but it's not like I worked on tech law. I just I wasn't exposed to a branch of law that I knew that I definitely wanted to do. But then in first year, I did this, like first year internships are called like, they're not really internships, they're called like first year schemes. So it's inside schemes. So you get to like visit the office for a few days, and you get to meet the lawyers and like get slight insight into the work that they do. And I just realized that I would like to work in any kind of law. Like I wasn't tied, right, to tech law. Like it's probably best to have an open mind at the start of your career, because you miss out on opportunities if you're like, no, I only want to do this type of law. Yeah.
How big of a jump would you say your workload is from when you were at Stowe to now that you're at LSE?
Like an insane jump. Like a crazy jump. It's not like, it's not impossible, like it's not unbearable. You can definitely deal with it. But I think, because I always considered myself a pretty organized, like capable person. But when I started first year, I realized like I would really have to like up my game and rethink how I organize and plan my time, just because there's so much to do, right? Like you want to do well at school. There's a lot of reading, like that cliche is true. Like you are expected to read a lot. But you also want to have a life, right? And LSE's in London, like there's so much to do, there's friends to make, there's places to go. So like trying to strike that balance is like, it's crazy, because there's a lot more work than sixth form.
Yeah. And I also had a question. What is like right now your favorite kind of part of LSE? Like what, like obviously it's very like hard school to get into, and what would you say right now is like what makes it so special? Like your favorite parts of it?
I can't say there's just one. So can I say
like
two?
anything? Yeah, no, of course, as much as you want.
So like the first bit would be like the quality of teaching. So you feel, I think for the most part, there are some like exceptional cases, but for the most part, the teachers and professors really love like what they're doing. They're quite like, they're experts in it, and they really like imparting all that knowledge onto young, willing people. So just being in that like space because a lot of our professors, like they're the ones who wrote our textbooks, right? So like just like that access to such like expertise is really interesting, really inspiring. Like you're going to have so many questions and so many answers. Like it's really nice to be in that type of environment, especially if you like challenges, right? If you like learning new things, it's the perfect environment to be in. And I think the second thing I really love about LSE is like the people. So people are really intelligent, and they're really not just intelligent, they're also driven. So even when let's say you're lacking motivation, or you just need something to like, trigger, do you know what I mean? Like, get you going, and you can just look to your friend, and they'll be working on something interesting, or they'll be thinking about something interesting. So yeah, it's just that network of people, both from the students and the staff. Yeah.
What type of elements did you include in your personal statement that you think made you really stand out?
Okay, I think that the fact that it was personal, I don't know if that's answered your question, but like how personal it was made it stand out. Like I had a clear interest in something and I was able to show that. So I spoke about like, okay, that interest, the tech thing that I focused my EPQ on, but then I linked it to other things. So I did an essay competition, right? And then I linked that to tech as well. And then I did my internship, I linked it to tech as well. Like it's just, I don't know how to explain. Like it could be, you could include anything, right, in your personal statement, as long as it shows that you care and you're actually invested, you know.
Yeah.
What like advice or tips would you give to the current sixth formers who are planning to apply to law schools and universities, would you say?
I think first and probably most important is to really engage with your subjects. Like doing well, because the grades are like a very like fundamental part of the whole application process, right? They want people who are doing well at school, but also showing interest in your like really engaging with your subjects could just give you that, you know, that one topic or that one thing that you really, really like and you think, you know, you might want to use as the basis for your whole personal statement. You know, like you have access to so much, like you're doing course. I don't know what A levels you're doing, but I did English, politics, and economics, and like they were so interesting, and like a lot of the things that I learned in those subjects like formed or like really triggered my thinking about so many different things, you know, especially tech and like, you know, how like this is super random and like not even what you asked me, but like when we learn about like monopolies and like econ, that got me thinking about the type of monopolies we see now in society.
No,
And
I
that's
agree. Yeah, that's really interesting.
monopolies like Google, Facebook, and stuff like that. So you have access to so much information, like there's just at your fingertips, like all this knowledge. And so just I'd say that's the most important thing. Engage with your schoolwork and do well. And then also start early. You're in fifth form, so you're doing the right thing. Just start thinking about like what you want to do, and then how you might use the experience, how you might like, you know, that then informs the type of experiences that you will have and like the type of extracurriculars that you will do if you have a clearer picture. You don't have to have everything figured out, right? But like just having a clearer picture is definitely beneficial. And also like listen to Dr. West and your tutors, because they know what they're talking about.
We try.
They know what they're talking about and they're super, super helpful. So yeah.
Thank you.
I also have one last question. Sorry, it's just on my phone. Do you think that your GCSEs like affected your application, and like what did you get on your GCSEs?
As current GCSE
Yeah, about to take it in 6 months.
No, so Dr. West is laughing because like I have like GCSE like a very strange GCSE situation. Because before I went to Stowe, I went to an international school called TASIS, and they didn't do GCSEs. So when I came to Stowe, I didn't have GCSEs.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I needed GCSEs, right? Because I went to a school with a completely different, like
not the English system, yeah.
Not the English system. And so then I did do I did do English and maths GCSE. I got a 9 in English, but I did so bad in maths because like not so bad. Okay, I don't want to say so bad. I got like a 5 in maths, but I'm not, and I like just not good at maths at all. So I think that did affect my application because I got into LSE, but I didn't get into UCL. And I think that probably did have something to do with it. Like they didn't tell me that, but that probably did have something to do with it.
Because apparently UCL like requires like a 7 or a 6.
Yeah, they do. And I tried to like email them and tell them like speak to them about like mitigating circumstances and stuff like that, but they don't. Whatever, like yeah.
So would you say that because I was like kind of I thought that economics was quite like math focused. So would you say that you not being that good at math did that like because clearly it didn't like handicap you that much because you got an A, I'm thinking, or an A star. So
Yeah.
how would you say that kind of like
I
how did that play?
econ A level isn't that math heavy, right? So
Okay.
it's not the craziest things in the world. Like it will be like percentage change or like maybe just like it's not the maths in A level econ is not that difficult. Like it's an essay based A level, but even like I think I would have probably like I'm not when I say I'm bad at maths, that's probably like hyperbole, right? But I hadn't done maths in like 2.5 years or like 2 years by the time I was doing it. Like you won't be in that same position. Like I'm sure you'll do like fine. But with regards to the econ A level, no, it's not that math heavy, and you could definitely.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
And I have a question on the EPQ.
Oh yes. Shayna was actually quite interested in. So you apparently did a topic for the EPQ that she's really interested in. So she was wondering like how you inputted that into your application and how that affected it.
Yeah, or maybe any like just advice or tips on how to write it and like make it strong.
Make it strong. I'm trying to remember. It just
like would you say like definitely take an EPQ or take like another elective?
I'd say I don't even remember what the other electives are. I think I would say
like Lambda and taking an extra language, I think.
Oh.
Like there's
another
level.
Okay,
like there's a lot. Yeah.
Okay, it depends. I think it depends on your person. Like I don't want to say maybe your personality and like what you want to do or what you think you want to do, right? I think having an EPQ was very beneficial for applying to law, right? Because 5,000 word written project like shows an ability to communicate, right? And use language effectively, right? And that's something that you're obviously looking for because at law school you only ever write essays. Like that's literally it. Like writing essays like every single day. So I think it was definitely helpful to do an EPQ over Lambda because I wanted to study law.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Do we have any questions
from the audience?
Oh, actually, yeah, I do. Just a quick question. Do you know anyone who, or if you, because I know you're doing law straight, but do you know anyone who plans to take the conversion course? Because that's what I'm planning to do, because I want to do politics first and then take the conversion course after. So I was wondering if you knew anything about the workload and if I still have to take the LNAT if I do that.
Okay, I know lots of people who are doing non-law subjects and plan to convert to law. I don't know if you mean if I know anything about the workload of the conversion course. Like I'm not sure what the conversion course would look like, but like it's a law conversion, so like you should like it probably will be challenging. But so many people do that. More people do that now than people who just do straight law. And also at LSE you also have another thing called law with anthropology. So you don't have, and that's another thing you don't have to do the LNAT for. And if you do any non-law undergrad, you don't have to do the LNAT. Yeah.
Do you have what does that mean, law with anthropology? Like what does that look like? Like how does it differ, like how is it different from what you do?
Okay, so anthropology, when they speak about it, like I am also confused. I don't really know what anthropology is. I know what it is, like it's like the study of people and like community, things like that. So it's a bit different from law. Like in first year, as I said, they have, I had 4 compulsory law modules. They
Yeah.
have 2, and then they do like 2 like anthropology specific ones. But honestly, they really love it. And then they do like the other two that they didn't do in first year and second year with other anthropology modules. People really do like that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.